Walk us through your journey from gaming to a CMO.
It's hard for me now to say which one I enjoy more. I do, of course, spend a lot more time marketing than I do on gaming, unfortunately. A game that requires a lot of decision making, a lot of thinking, a lot of risk taking, management of, it's a deeply analytical game. That's why many young people don't play it anymore. It's a deeply analytical game. I don't get fired from here. Block time for gaming in a day.
Walk us through your journey when it comes to music as a healer.
I used to play the guitar in college. I used to play the harmonica for some time. I tried. And then sort of, life takes over and you give it all up. But I still love music. I still really love sort of playing and all that. It's one of my deep passions.
There is something extremely fascinating about young marketeers. Today we are here to meet Ashwin Moorthy, who is the Chief Marketing Officer for Godrej Consumer Products. Let's get to understand from him and also understand what he does to become calm when there is chaos. Join me in the conversation. Ashwin, a very warm welcome to Off the Clock.
Thanks, Sakshi. Thanks so much for having me here. And thanks for making it to our office. Great to have you here.
You're most welcome. Now, I want to understand from you. We've just seen your true elements when you were playing, the Age of
Empires 2.
Yes. Walk us through your journey from gaming to a CMO.
Well, I've been gaming for a very long time, much longer than I've been a CMO. It's hard for me now to say which one I enjoy more. I do, of course, spend a lot more time marketing than I do on gaming, unfortunately. One thing I could do, I'd probably try to game more and market less. But I think why I stuck with this game for probably like 20 years now, maybe longer, is that it is a game that I think lends itself a lot to how I like to operate. It's a game that requires a lot of decision making, a lot of thinking, a lot of risk taking, management of, it's a deeply analytical game. That's why many young people don't play it anymore. It's a deeply analytical game. But I think I see a lot of that in marketing as well. The type of marketer I am is I tend to be more analytical. I tend to be more rule based. I tend to put a lot of weight on making big decisions well. A lot of the game is also around sort of competing with other people. So it's a multiplayer game. And so basis your strengths and your weaknesses, you have to understand what the opponent's strengths and weaknesses are. And then you have to, outplay the opponent. And I find particularly the role I do today, which is like a multi-brand, multi-category role, we compete with everybody. We compete with a very large set of companies, and they're quite different between, global MNCs versus local operators, D2C brands. So I think the nature of competition variance is something which I relate a lot back to Age of Empires, because there also you have people who are aggressive, but not great at managing resources. Some who are really good, have a process and a system that's hard to break down, but are not vertically aggressive. And how you compete with them has to be different. So I think that there's a lot that I draw from in terms of parallels between the game and what I do.
You take decision for a mammoth company like yours. What is your thought process? What are you thinking and processing? And then how do you come to a decision per se?
Yeah, I think decision making has to be with some fundamental anchors, right? And I think a good decision has two parts to it. One is analysis, one is intuition. I think analysis is just following the rigor of looking at the data, looking at the evidence, meeting consumers, and analyzing that issue or that opportunity for the decision you need to make. I think another set is intuition. And a lot of marketing decisions today need a lot more intuition than they used to, because the data has become less clear. So oddly enough, you have more data, but triangulating the data and making sense of it has actually become harder. And intuition is, I believe, this is a summation of experience.
Yes.
So the more often you sort of face a pattern, the more predictable, the outcome becomes, and hence your decision is better. So I think I just look at approaching it from both angles. So intuitively, what do I feel? And analytically, what's the evidence telling me? And when they match up, more often than not, the decision tends to be right.
Marketing requires a lot of innovation. So what are your thought processes? And also tell me one thing that your team doesn't know about you.
So I love marketing, but what I genuinely like is, I think, changing the nature in how business is done. For example, we run one of the largest sort of portfolios with probably the smallest marketing team. And the reason is we apply a lot of tech, a lot of first principles, etc. So my my own obsession is I try to get the underlying fundamental principle and scale that rather than having constant different piece of work going on. So I like that a lot. One thing my colleagues probably don't know about me is how much I actually goof off. So I have like time blocked on my calendar. These are long 2 to 3 hour times blocked on the calendar, where it appears like there's something important because I don't take any meetings in that time. But I just generally goof off. Either I'll read a book at home, or I'll just walk around somewhere. And because I don't like working consistently for a long period of time. So I like taking these long breaks where I can just sit and think about fundamentals.
So it's downtime and recharge, because I think when you process as a leader is when you get more clarity. And every time you look at a new problem, you have a new perspective, right?
Yeah. And then I also find there's too much nowadays of this back-to-back blocking of time that I think is a COVID sort of leave behind. That I find this saps energy, just constantly back to back. And I think taking and I don't find these short breaks, but there's a lot of thing about 50-minute working, 10-minute break, or 21/9, whatever that is. That doesn't work for me. You need shutdown takes longer. So that's one thing that people, I hope they still don't know, but they're going to watch this. But I like blocking off these large chunks of time.
And that is how you unwind?
That's how I sort of, I think unwind. I sort of just get the energy back. I don't do it nowadays, but I used to in my earlier jobs. I don't get fired from here. Block time for gaming in a day. Because I find that although the gaming is really intense, it's a mentally heavy game, but I find it just shuts me out. And sometimes when you're faced with a hard decision or you're trying something really complicated, effort doesn't mean you'll solve it better. Like I find that just spending more time worrying about it or going more into data, talking to more people doesn't help me. I am by nature introverted, sometimes antisocial, but primarily introverted. So I like to simmer with an issue by myself, not in a place where it's being worked out, and I find that helps me. So sometimes I need that.
Is this the same Ashwin who was 14-year-old, or your personality has changed with life experiences?
So I think okay, let me tell you what people don't know, which is I actually wanted to be a journalist. So sitting here, I envy what you and your team are doing. I'm a mass comm grad. So I actually, after my junior college, I graduated mass comm. So I wanted to be a journalist because I loved writing. And the reason why I loved writing is I loved reflection. So I was always interested in literature, in language, building my vocabulary, making a point, creating sort of a narrative.
Pushing a little.
Yeah, and I was also quite politically minded. So I thought, let me go and become a political journalist. Was really the unfulfilled dreams. If you ask me one thing which I would really want to do, it's probably, it's not probably, definitely journalism. And then along the way, I sort of gained a love for advertising and copywriting. And then one thing led to another. I got into media planning and then marketing, and then I still enjoy it. So I think I've always been reflective. I always preferred the pen to the phone. In terms of I'd like to write and articulate my thoughts rather than sort of converse.
Wonderful. I'm so glad you spelled that out for us. Emotions and stress and what life throws at us. How do you deal with that? Has there been any regret? Not journalism, of course, but something that got you very busy and you were unable to do it for yourself, for your people, family. I want to touch that a little.
I think I don't know if every parent has this regret, but when your kids are young, I have a 3.5-year-old.
Okay.
And I constantly feel I should spend more time. I think your life does change when you sort of become a father or a mother, particularly when you become a mother, because it changes a lot more. But I'm really happy to give up things that you were doing as a younger person, dinners with the team, etc., etc. But I feel that balance that you have to strike between, look, if I had all day, I would spend it with my son.
Of
all
course,
day,
we have a priority.
24 hours. Yes. That's where I like to be. And if I had all day to spend it at work, because I really love what I do. And driving that balance, I think I don't know if anyone gets it right. I really admire those. Some seem to get it right, but I don't know if how they feel about it themselves. But the regret I have is not the regret, but what I feel I could do better is really how do I manage that time and that emotion between being with my family versus sort of working, because I love both, but obviously I love my family more.
Of course, all of us do.
So that obviously that takes time, but that's sort of, I feel, the really hardest thing to do, because you're also aware that this time doesn't last long. Enough people will tell you that at 6 years they start changing. This is the time you have to really sort of like
The
get
first
as
5
much,
years, they learn the fastest.
get as much selfish benefit of being a parent as you can.
Yes, and
Till they start
imagine,
needing you
the
less.
child comes to you and, you can pick the child up and hug them.
Yeah.
Once they are 6, 7, they don't want to be picked up in
I
public.
believe so. Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yes.
So,
We all enjoy our downtime, and you told me about your interest in music. Walk us through your journey when it comes to music as a healer.
I don't know where I'd be without music in this world. I think one of the best things in this world is the fact that you have this wonderful human experience that we can all sort of share. I listen to probably 3 to 4 hours of music a day.
Every day?
Every day. I used to listen to a lot more as a kid. And again, it comes to being reflective and I guess a little bit, introverted and all that. I've listened to everything. I've listened to I listen to pop, I listen to the classics, I listen to lo-fi, I listen to
Rock?
house, lots of rock.
Wow.
So Bruce
Wow.
Springsteen is someone I listen to probably like every single day. Led Zeppelin, some of the oldies,
Metallica
Def
one.
Leppard, Metallica, Iron Maiden. So the classic Bombay college kid, Iron Maiden, so of course I grew out of that. I can't hang around here doing all that stuff.
Yeah, more Xaviers and St. Andrews
Also
or
gave up
Giants.
smoking. The mass media, you know what it is, right? A mass media grad is. I used to play the guitar in college. I used to play the harmonica for some time. I tried, and then sort of life takes over and you give it all up. But I still love music. I still really love sort of playing and all that. It's one of my deep passions.
As a young leader with so many years of experience, what is that one thing you'd want to tell the leaders of today?
I think politics and toxicity seem to give you a road to success. I've seen a lot of really senior people being political and toxic, and it may work. I don't know how that makes for work life, especially in this new era where people are working all the time. I mean, somebody asked me the other day saying, how many days do you have work from home? How many days do you have work from office? And I said, it doesn't matter, because I've seen people at home on a weekend or at home in the night working. And it's because they prefer to work at that time, or they stress about what they need to do. And then if you bring toxicity and you bring political maneuvering in that sort of a world where things are tough as they are and life is hard as it is on working, if you can remove that element, I think we'll all just be more productive and happier.
Yes.
So that is my sort of, it's a self-reflection, which is I've always find that in those environments I tend to struggle being joyful. And when they're not there, I tend to thrive. And I think a lot of people may be that way.
Ashwin, you spent a lot of time with yourself, and the amount of clarity you have in what you are as a person and what you want to give as a contribution to the organization or your team is commendable. I've learned a lot from you.
Thanks, actually. It was lovely meeting you, and thank you so much.
Thank you. For someone who knows Ashwin Moorthy, they will think he's an introvert, but he has changed the narrative for us completely today. We've spoken about everything under the sun, from failures to leadership to downtime and more. Thank you so much for viewing Off the Clock, and I hope to see you for the next episode. Stay tuned.